Hello, Varlets. Today we're going to be checking out some Veteran Sharpshooter builds that we can find on Games Lantern. We're going to take a look and see just how some of the most viewed, more popular builds stack up against my Shredder Autopistol build for the Veteran Sharpshooter. This isn't meant to diss any builds, it's just meant to help you compare different builds, see whether or not you prefer them over what I've recommended. Link in the description for my Sharpshooter Autopistol build. I think it's a great all-rounder build. I think it's the best all-rounder build for the Veteran Sharpshooter right now with the state of the game. But that being said, let's get into it. I've looked at Veteran Sharpshooter builds, obviously. I've chosen all-rounder. For those of you who solo play like I do, you can't really go into high intensity Damnation not knowing what your team's bringing to the table. You need to have a build that can kind of deal with everything. I've picked Damnation as the level, and for now I'm picking most viewed just to see what's most popular. I'm going to try to make sure that I'm checking things that weren't updated a month or two ago, because a lot's changed since the game has been patched a few times. So looking at this right off the bat, the most viewed apparently updated one day ago by Optical Gaming. We have the Veteran Bolt Gun and Power Sword build, rated for Damnation and rated as an all-rounder build. Anti-everything. You're going to kill all of the things. So that being said, let's dive into it. He's got a Mark 6 Power Sword. I'll be playing with my Mark III. I'm not going to re-roll for a Mark 6 at this point. My Mark III looks exactly like this, and I'm sure this guy isn't going to have a problem with the fact that it's a Mark III over a Mark 6. In point of fact, the Mark III may be even better because it's better at horde clearing than the Mark 6 is more of a single target type attack animations. And frankly, with the bolt gun, I think, you know, this is more going to be a horde clearing weapon than in my auto pistol build. This might actually be the better choice because you're more using it for, one second while I mute that. You're more using this to deal with crushers, whereas the bolt gun can actually really deal with crushers as well. So, you know, either way, I'm going to play with the Mark III. Spearhead bolt gun, this is a great loadout. I totally agree with it. Flak armored is great against most of the things you're going to be trying to kill in terms of gunners and stuff like that. Maulers, Razors, body shotting them. 10 to 25% damage to unyielding enemies. That's going to help you against Reapers, Bulwarks, as well as Crushers. I think that's a great choice. Pinning Fire, Shattering Impact. That's exactly what you should run on this gun. So this is a great build altogether from what I've seen so far. Moving into Curios, he's got, this I can't agree with. He's got max health and a +1 wounds. I mean, +1 wounds is fine. If you go down a lot, this is a great choice. But you definitely want toughness on your Sharpshooter. Your Sharpshooter actually benefits more from bonuses to toughness than any other class in the game. I think all the other classes in the game benefit more from health, and this is the right choice. But for Sharpshooter, I strongly disagree with this, especially because coming down here, yeah, he's got unwavering focus, which means, you know, this build is based around trying to use your toughness bar as a shield, and basically tanking ranged shots. Which means, you know, you're going to want that extra toughness to do so reliably. Otherwise, you're not proccing unwavering focus, you're just taking health damage. Whether or not you use +1 wounds or not is up to you. Personally here, I would say you're better off with 2 toughness and 1 either wound or 1 health. Depending on whether or not you find you go down or you think that little extra bit of health will keep you from going down, that's kind of your decision there. He's got damage resistance to snipers. I think that's great. Gunners, sure, you know, maybe that'll help balance the fact that he doesn't have enough toughness to resist the gunners, but personally I think, you know, you could get rid of the gunners if you had both of these at toughness using unwavering focus here. But that's my opinion. In terms of the build itself, he's got confirmed kill, great. Demolition stockpile, great. Demolition team, not so great. I think the best choice in this slot for any build is bioptic targeting. That being said, I did notice he's using sustained fire down here, and that's going to make it a lot harder to refresh his volley fire. So probably that's why he doesn't want to use bioptic targeting, is he doesn't want to highlight the few enemies he has to refresh his volley fire, in which case I would say covering fire is a better choice, because you have a really good chance every time you kill an enemy with a ranged attack that is in melee range of that ally, they replenish 15% toughness and gain 10% increased damage for 3 seconds. You can proc this all day. This is a 5% chance to proc. I think it's a horrible choice. I think it's and particularly the fact that they're not running Fragstorm, so they're getting these grenades from Demolition Stockpile, they're getting these grenades from Demolition Team, and we're not even running the 8 stacks of bleed on grenades. I think this is a waste of slot, but that's my opinion. Unwavering Focus, great choice. Nothing really to say here. Camo Expert is really only for specific builds, which you really shouldn't be running instead of Unwavering Focus unless you have a team built around the fact that they know you have Camo Expert and you have a specific job to do while you stand still. In solo play, this really just doesn't work to your advantage. One after another is the choice here for sure. Even though he's gaining grenades like crazy, you really can't benefit from this because you are dealing with a bolter, and bolters reload like one of the slowest reloads available to the Veteran Sharpshooter. You definitely will need that extra 30% reload speed to try to maintain your unwavering focus through your volley fire. Especially since he's chosen sustained fire here instead of counter fire, which means you won't have all those little shooters to replenish your volley fire. As per my build, you're going to be relying entirely on elites and specials to replenish your F key, your volley fire ability, and thus keep your unwavering focus up. So yeah, I don't really know what to say other than I think this is a bad choice. I think even with a bolter, you should be looking at counterfire. I definitely think with counterfire and covering fire, or counterfire and bioptic targeting, this is a good, solid choice build and would bring a lot of utility to your team. Alright, so getting in here, as I said, I'm not going to be switching from the Mark III to the Mark VI. I do have a Mark VI power sword, but it doesn't have the right blessings on it, so despite the fact that it's a 523, it's actually pretty garbage. Without Power Cycler or Slaughterer, it's just not, it's probably less than half as good as this weapon, and I highly doubt this guy would argue that, you're better off with a Mark VI than a Mark III considering the stats on this thing. So we're going to keep it as the Mark III power sword for this build, but we are going to go ahead and get this changed over. I do have 2 good bolt guns. I have one that's rolled exactly the way that he wants it to be rolled, so this is the one I'm going to use. I think this is far more realistic as to what you'd be picking up in terms of, a new, let's try this build out, let's, blow some plasteel making this bolt gun. It's tier 3 blessings. I got 20% damage to unyielding enemies like he asked for. I got 25% damage to flak armored like he asked for. My god roll I think is probably better. It has the 25% damage to Carapace instead of Unyielding, which isn't as good as Unyielding for sure. I think Unyielding is a better choice here, but this is what I got. But I've got the 25% damage to Flak, and I have both of these at tier 4. Now I will say what is going to be nicer about this is the reload speed. I've got 66% reload speed on this one, which is not the dump stat you want on a bolt gun. It takes forever to reload. Whereas this one is all the way up to 80%, and its dump stat is in mobility, which is perfectly fine. This thing's not a very mobile weapon anyway, so you're not really going to see much difference between, low 60, even a high 50 mobility and a full 80%. that being said, what I'm losing here is the tier 4 blessings, which I think is going to make a bit of an impact, but I do trade out for it with the 20% to unyielding, which is going to help me against crushers, reapers, and bulwarks versus just crushers. And I do have a reliable melee weapon against crushers anyway, so this is a great gun. It's, you know, it's definitely got all the stats you could possibly hope for trying out this build for the first time. So, as I said, I'm not going to switch my curios. I think curios are more of a personal preference anyway. You should be taking damage resistance against things that you personally have trouble with, or, you know, if you don't need any damage resistance, then, you know, things like ability upkeep and stuff like that are your choices. And as I said, I think that, you know, the mistake of that build was having plus health in there rather than plus toughness. When you're dealing with unwavering focus, you want to have a large toughness bar. It will make you relatively unkillable against ranged targets. And then I use a plus max health rather than a plus 1 wounds, because I have a tendency to not go down unless something super tragic happens. Honestly, most of the time I go down in high intensity, I never come back up. So having the plus 1 wounds isn't going to help me. The game's usually over if I go down. So switching over to feats, I've got confirmed kill, I've got demolition stockpile. I can't stress this enough. I think this is a mistake, but we're going to switch off our bioptic targeting and we're going to go with demolition team. I mean, I actually agree, you know, switching counterfire to sustained fire, losing those shooters as priority targets. I think, you know, not having bioptic targeting up is probably better in a selfish kind of sense, but I think in that case you should switch. At least if you're not giving your team wall hacks, you should be replenishing their toughness and giving them extra damage when you kill those elites and specials. But here we are, guys. We're running demolition team. I think this is a horrible idea, but whatever. Unwavering focus, 100%. That's where we're going. We're going to take off frag storm. Like I said, I run this with my auto pistol build, not because it's better, but because I need it when I have random people in my team. And we're going to go with one after another, which is a great choice with this build. 100% this is going to do work because the bolter reloads slow as hell. And then we're switching to sustained fire. I get why this is here. You're replenishing 60% toughness with volley fire. Sure, that's awesome. And it reloads your weapon for you, which is definitely awesome considering the slow reload speed of this. But yeah, losing those shooters to replenish your volley fire and keep your volley fire up and running almost indefinitely when there's large groups of them, and on top of that, not being able to see them easily because they're not highlighted. I think this is a horrible choice, but hey, let's give it a go. Let's see what the skill challenge is to this. And with that, I've got no high intensity here, but I will try to jump into a Damnation game. Now, you know, this is me trying this build for the first time. I'm very proficient with the Veteran Sharpshooter for sure. Part of that proficiency has relied on counterfire quite a bit. I use counterfire to highlight all those little shooters. I find it really hard to see shooters sometimes in shadow and fog in this game. So not having that is going to make this almost like it's completely new for me. And I do have some experience with the bolter. I need to say I run it quite often with my zealot, so the learning curve of the gun itself won't be huge, but I don't use it very often on the Veteran Sharpshooter, so it'll be interesting to see if I prefer it on this versus where I run it on the zealot. When I use it on the zealot, I use it almost more like a shotgun, where I deal with crushers and bulwarks in close range with just like automatic primary fire action. I imagine with this build I'm going to be expected to use the single fire staring down the sight secondary action on this gun. So we'll see how that changes my perspective. Plus, one of the things I dislike about it on the Zealot is its low ammo capacity. where, you know, the passive on the Veteran Sharpshooter is going to make this have a lot more ammo, and I'm going to be generating ammo with my other passive, so, you know, it'll be interesting. And we have another Sharpshooter to generate even more ammo, so who knows, maybe I'll fall in love with this gun with all this ammo rolling in for me.
You're going to access the station's auto-scheduler and redirect a high-value target. You'll be waiting on the platform, and you'll kill them. Is that clear?
You know, right off the bat, in comparison to the Shredder Autopistol Build, I think this is a great weapon choice for dealing with some of the heavier things. The Autopistol really can't cope with super long range, whereas the range on this is much better. And I do think, you know, the Autopistol is absolutely garbage against Crushers, whereas this thing can at least stagger them out, if not outright kill them. Once you build up pinning fire enough to do so. So it doesn't have the mobility of the Autopistol, so I am slower. I won't have the dodging, well, especially while I'm reloading, that the Autopistol brings. But yeah, check it out. Right off the bat, there's my absence of shooters being highlighted. Which right now I would have been still maintaining my F key had I had counterfire on for all these little weenies, but here we are.
Cover it, move!
You'll be using the vent tunnel to access the marketplace.
The fact that I'm not replenishing my volley fire on those guys is already driving me crazy, but that is my personal preference.
Kill confirmed on the track 677!
Got the sniper, replenish my toughness. Definitely able to sort out some of these big boys pretty easily. Still maintaining my toughness, surprisingly, so that's good. Definitely noticing a significant amount more ammo. But Autopistol's got a ton more, and I would have gotten through all of that a lot faster. The pace of the game goes a lot quicker with the Autopistol. But being able to sort out those Reapers and bulwarks with such sort of no fucks given has been kind of nice.
We killed them!
See how the reload goes. Can I maintain? But I can really sort out these armored mobs. So you definitely can't depend on this for the single fire in close range. You definitely do have to switch to the more ammo consumptive rapid fire, and that's what you're really banking on in terms of the pinning fire. But so far we're not suffering ammo-wise, so we'll try to change our tactics a little bit more. Really use this to plug away at things. Plus, you know, in close range we can always switch to our sword. More so than, you know, I would have used my auto pistol there, but I don't need to, so hey, better for the ammo consumption of the team if I'm being a little bit more reluctant to use my ranged weapon.
Finish it! Defense my conversion!
Right now. Definitely sorting the Ogre out a lot easier than the Autopistol, but it's slow. Not sure if this was high intensity, if it would be enough. Normally I would have volley fired there. To show my team where that was, but can't do that because I don't have bioptic targeting. Still have grenades though, so we can use this. Reload speed on this means all I could really do there was throw some grenades.
Kill shot drills engaged.
Definitely these Reapers. The amount of times I've actually fallen down that little hole, I think I'd understand that it was there.
We've got stairs.
You've got to all get back together before going further. Promising so far. We need to access the auto scheduler. Set your data interrogation.
Engaging critical target. There! That presses down.
I think this is a great weapon. I love it as a weapon choice on the sharpshooter. I just really think with unwavering focus you're better off with counterfire. All these would be still lit up. I'd still be helping me and my team with bioptic targeting. Yeah. No issue with the gun. Definitely think it's a viable weapon to bring into high intensity damnation. And it does an insane quantity of damage. But yeah, feat choice I think is not necessarily the right one. Dodge is enough that I can reload and avoid the horde, so I gotta give it that. I didn't actually know if that was gonna work or not.
man should be tired so readily. Thank you.
We're gonna go ahead and take the opportunity to reload.
Someone fix that data crystal.
Seems to have something
Eliminating primary target.
Okay, I definitely enjoyed the sustained fire there. Having it reload my weapon.
Eliminating alpha target.
Data flow resuming. No interruptions. On the side.
I didn't do it, Grace.
Data interrogation imminent.
big winds of sand.
Your repeated fallback is making me tested.
Sighted in. Engaging.
Cover me.
Dodge there, even though we don't know where the trapper went. Dodge there. We grenade. We grenade again. Get him up. Grenade again.
Engaging precision fire. Wouldn't mind some snipers, Paul. Rattlings would be my choice.
It'd be useless on this mission. Spend half their lives asleep.
There were a couple moments there with the hordes being the way they were that the Shredder Autopistol would have mowed them down, but again, I really don't think that's a fault of this weapon. I think this weapon is just as viable as the Shredder Autopistol in the hands of a sharpshooter. Learning curve's a little bit higher on it, maybe, especially in terms of, you know, knowing you have to conserve ammo.
Yeah, when you put it like that.
But
Guess it does make sense.
But yeah, it does more damage, so that kind of offsets the fact that you have to be a bit careful with it.
Terminus is in sight. You can bet it'll be a sight to reach the platform.
Precision fire. The damn thing. Rage is dead and gone. He's dead. Ain't that a beautiful sight?
Scarbroski's dead. Though I walk with a weak, I remain strong. You've got a fine opinion of yourself, don't you?
Definitely shouldn't be shooting you guys, but
Ammo! The soldier's true friend!
guess I kind of understand the sustained fire a bit too from the reload speed, even with the shooters, you maybe aren't getting your clips reloaded enough to even dependably keep your volley fire up and running with that, so you kind of depend on sustained fire for the extra toughness regen.
Bastion 220 combat stance!
But I think for the slowness of this, the learning curve is much, much higher than the Shredder Autopistol. I also have no idea why that's not hitting.
I'm off.
Barricades are weird.
Come on. Fallback. Throwing grenade! Fucking grenade!
Don't have any more charges on that, that's fine. But this is a much better gun in terms of just being able to fire right into bulwark shields, stagger them out.
Precision fire underway!
This is how it's done.
And of course, being able to delete them. Probably should have left that for him, but hey, I'm helping him regen, so fuck it, I can be a little bit more selfish. Is there a question mark?
Russia!
Commence Medicaid application.
Throw that milk! Somewhere, a servitor array is missing part of its choir. Don't go letting
So let's say I don't know as much about this build as the guy who posted it, which is probably guaranteed. And that sustained fire is a good choice. That being said, definitely tell you that if this is a build you want to use, that helping your team replenish on a 5% chance grenades versus maybe, you know, either of the other two options. Is not optimal.
Big new E down!
I think, you know, helping your team replenish toughness consistently or just going ahead and sucking it up and grabbing bioptic targeting for your team.
Engaging priority target!
It's better.
Whoa, that's a good shot!
One shot, one kill.
Can't believe he blocked me out of that shot, but that's okay. I'm sure I probably blocked about 1,000 shots of his.
No choice, man! Under fire! Reloading! Ye shall fall!
Over there! He's dead! Ain't that a beautiful sight? Go there!
Hostile! You're sleeping! This is gonna take you
Copy
out!
that!
Hey, you're a plague open!
I don't have frag storms, so the bleeds aren't going to be there, but that's okay.
Bastion 220 engaged!
Can still use our grenades to stagger this thing. She'll help as I reload.
Beauty! He's dead! Ain't that a beautiful sight? Sighting in! Ammo crate! Hang on, Prince! Hang on, Prince!
Ambushed by the God Emperor!
Eliminating Alpha target!
Okay, that was good for replenishing my toughness there for a second.
Dennis called! Ha! Just another day in the dark. Big muties eliminated! We killed the friend! Trapper's gone! Good riddance! Trapper's down and out!
My grenade!
Definitely going to hit this before my team does, and then
Ammo
highlight
crate!
it.
Ammo!
But everybody gets a taste.
Right cozy little place this! Who the hell lives here by choice?
Only feet!
Grenade!
The heretic will not live another day! I put my grenade to you!
Wasted one bullet, but I'll take it. This is a super satisfying gun to use, I gotta say. But again, I've used this gun quite a bit. It took me quite a while to learn. Literally the first time I ever used Shredder Autopistol, there was no skill involved in it. So if you really love the bolter and you've practiced with it, this is a great option for the sharpshooter without a doubt. This is a very solid build. You can definitely get away with it.
You saved me the trouble of hunting you down.
But so far, I would say, you know, you're better off.
Engaging precision fire! There she goes! God,
Beauty. realize he was... Oh, he wasn't going after me. I just ate this guy's hit instead. It is what it is. That guy's down. Craggle Wolf is over there doing his own things, apparently. So, yeah. This will probably be a wipe. That's okay. I played that badly. I should have switched to my melee. These guys might pull it out, but it doesn't look like it.
I have ye, Templar. Fear not.
Hey, comrade!
Rise up, Templar.
Didn't expect to see you, sir.
Nasty. But we're in it. Crying Wolf is dead, but so far that doesn't seem to be affecting too much.
Killshot drills engaged!
Now we run. And we're trapped. That's bad.
I might have a problem. Sighting in!
Follow me. Veteran.
About time we dropped that.
What are you waiting for? Kill them!
Load. And lay into him. What? I slid. That's holy shit.
Thanks, fella.
Don't have any ammo.
Medipack down! Thanks to Redactor's target eliminated!
Hey, we made it.
Time to bring them home.
Weapons dry as the Wiverlands!
Thanks.
Alright. Not bad. Definitely, you know, took top damage. Took most boss damage by a lot. I don't think, I mean, definitely the build helps, but I don't think that's a product of the build. I think that's just the power sword. And did everything in terms of melee range, disablers and specials, I should say. So it definitely did work. So let's hop out. Let's take a look at our feats real quick and give a bit of a summary. So yeah, the bolt gun build, very, very similar in terms of, you know, it's still running a power sword. Like I said, I did not switch my curios. In terms of the feats, we definitely had some changes between bioptic targeting and demolition team. From what I could tell, I can see definitely not taking bioptic targeting, but I definitely think demolition team, I mean, if it did anything I didn't notice. Whereas I think covering fire actually would be a really good choice with this build. There's a really good chance you're going to be doing things like you know, killing an enemy with a ranged attack that is in melee range of your ally. You know, if they're being grabbed by a mutie, for instance, and you kill the mutie, that's going to replenish 15% toughness for them and give them plus 10% damage for 3 seconds. You know, I think this is actually an amazing choice, whereas Demolition Team, I think, is just a giant waste. Unwavering Focus is definitely the choice here, though I don't think you get as much use out of it as you do with the Autopistol build. In terms of tanking ranged things, I think you do need to kind of hang back a bit more with this build. Your gun's slower, your reload speed's slower. I definitely think you get less out of this, but it's still way, way better than Camo Expert and gives you a lot of forgiveness and a lot of outs. One after another is a must. I just, again, especially if you're not running demo team and you're using covering fire like I'm recommending, you know, Fragstorm isn't necessary. You don't need the bleed stacks to help you with crushers. As you saw, you can just delete them. So one after another is the way to go here. You need that extra reload speed with the bolt gun. And sustained fire, I mean, I used it effectively a couple of times. I noticed it giving me that 60% toughness as a, oh shit, I need toughness, hit my F key. Definitely useful. Do I think it's a better choice than counterfire? No. At the end of the day, once you get into high intensity damnation, those mobs of shooters are one of the most dangerous things in the game, and being able to keep your unwavering focus and your counterfire, and your volley fire up through killing them, and just wading into them a little bit more, as well as, you know, using them as a method of keeping your volley fire up and running, especially with the splash damage on the bolter. I think it's a better choice, but certainly if you like the way this works, it worked. You know, no argument there. It's not a horrible choice. I just think you're better off with counterfire, pretty much for just about any build with the sharpshooter. But that's my thoughts, and hope you enjoyed. Good luck. Hope you slay some heretics.